What's up, guys? It's me I am back with another video. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but we got word for Wrestle Votes. I'm told the plan as of right now is for Seth Rollins to address his health and future as World Heavyweight Champion this Monday night on Raw. Now, this past Monday, Seth defended the title against Jinder Mahal in the main event, and you're probably thinking that's kind of weird. Well, I mean, the way I feel about it is, first of all, it started a hilarious Twitter beef between Tony Khan and Jinder and Hook, and it was a whole thing for about a couple of days. But also, like Seth has said before, he'll take on anybody, and so Jinder just happened. Jinder's like, well, I was in the segment last week with The Rock. Well, I was the fake out for that, so he said, screw it, I'll challenge Seth, and he did. But Seth apparently got hurt, supposedly a leg injury. We don't know how bad. Um, but based on this wording, there's a few different ways this can go, and that's what I want to talk about. Now, I think the the option that everybody's hoping for is that he pulls a Mark Henry and announces that he's still going to continue to compete and defend the title. I would imagine if that's the case, then I don't think he's obviously not wrestling at the Rumble. Um, he probably wouldn't wrestle again until Elimination Chamber at the earliest, and then obviously WrestleMania, which would mean that the Rollins Punk match that we're supposed to get, or figuring we're gonna get, remains intact. However, in the event that this is serious enough to where he has to vacate, there's a few different ways this can go. And there is the obvious option of having Priest finally cash in his briefcase to win the title. And honestly, that's probably what they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the option that WWE goes with in the event that Seth has to vacate, is that they'll just have Priest cash it in. However, if we were to take that out of the equation, I think there's two primary options that WWE has that they can do. Both of them involve the men's Royal Rumble match. Either, and by that I mean you make the Rumble match for the title. So there's two different people that I think should win this. You can make an argument for Drew, you can make an argument for a few others, but there's two people that I think it should be. Number one, and this is the obvious one, CM Punk. CM Punk goes into the Rumble, wins it, wins the title, and then you work it out from there to determine who he faces. Probably would be whoever wins Elimination Chamber in Australia. Although, then again, I've said before that Cody gets screwed out of the Rumble win 2 years in a row by the Bloodline, so then he goes into the chamber and wins it. So I think, honestly, you would still have to do that to get Cody to Mania. I mean, Cody's going to get to Mania one way or the other, but get Cody to Mania to face Roman specifically because it has to be Cody and Roman. It has to be. So I think you have Punk win the title via the Rumble, and then you figure out who he's going to face at WrestleMania. Whether he ends up in the main event slot of night one or not is to be determined. But you can figure that out because I think Seth versus Roman would probably main event night one, and give Punk the main event match that he never got in his first run. Now that being said, the second option is a bit more complicated, a bit more convoluted, and that is Gunther wins the Rumble, he wins the title, and then he vacates the Intercontinental title. And honestly, I think one way or the other, this is how Gunther should drop the IC title. Is he straight up just vacates it? He just says nobody's gonna beat me for it, so I'm gonna vacate it and I'm gonna move on to bigger and better things. But he says it the way that he says it. And so if that's what you do, then you have a laundry list of options. I would think that Gunther would defend the title at Mania in a multi-man match. I think for that you'd probably do Gunther versus Drew versus Punk versus Priest versus a couple of other people. And then as for the IC title, you do this. I'm gonna so if you're a New England independent wrestling fan and you go to Wrestling Open, right now they're doing the Jumbo Grand Prix, which is basically a bunch of blocks with three competitors per block, all of which to eventually lead to determining the next number one contender for the Wrestling Open title. Do something like that where you have multiple people across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT to um to do that, and you put those blocks together, you have everybody compete, and then you win your block, you go to WrestleMania in a multi-man intercontinental title ladder match. Sounds kind of convoluted, but in a way it also makes sense. Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.